Vinícius betrays Madrid. He refuses to extend his contract. Manchester United is going all in for Kane, and Bayern is furious. Who is this defender Real Madrid is dropping 100 million euros on? All that right now, 350 likes, and a new episode drops tomorrow. Vinícius Jr., a key player for Real Madrid, one of their attacking leaders, and the most consistent performer in recent seasons, has suddenly rejected the club's first contract extension offer. And what does that mean? Drama, intrigue, and months of speculation ahead. But let's break it down. Vinícius is under contract with Real Madrid until 2027, with a mind-blowing €1 billion release clause. On paper, everything seems locked in, but Madrid decided not to waste time and opened talks about a new long-term deal. The problem? Vinícius and his camp said, "Thanks, but not interested for now." Why? He's not planning to leave. He's repeatedly stated that Santiago Bernabeu is his home. So, what's the real reason? Money, of course. Right now, Vinícius earns around €15 million per year, and with bonuses, the number looks better. But then there's Kylian Mbappé, his new teammate, who earns about the same, plus a massive signing bonus when he joined. And Vini? Well, let's just say he also wants his contributions to Madrid's success to be properly valued. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia is keeping an eye on the situation. Back in December, Saudi clubs reached out to Vinícius's camp again, subtly hinting that they wouldn't mind seeing him there next summer. Of course, Vinícius made it clear that Real Madrid is his priority. But knowing how relentless the Saudis are, it wouldn't be surprising if they offer him a salary so insane that even Cristiano Ronaldo would be jealous. Then, in January, Real Madrid made their move. They met with Vinícius's agents and even some of his family members, hoping for a quick resolution. The first offer? A significantly improved contract. Vinícius rejected it. Madrid was aiming for smooth negotiations, but it's now obvious this will take longer than expected. Florentino Perez and his team want to avoid a scenario where Vinícius walks away for free in 2027. We've seen how Real Madrid usually locks down their stars early, but this case is different. Some fans will say, where else would he go? While others will remind you that football is a business. The Premier League wants him, Saudi Arabia is calling, and until he signs that new contract, rumors will keep spreading, and Madrid fans will start feeling uneasy. So, what happens next? Will Real Madrid offer Vinícius a contract on Mbappe's level? Or will the Brazilian start seriously considering those Saudi millions? Who said football is just a game? It's drama, intrigue, and a spectacle where even a 31-year-old striker with a contract until 2027 can suddenly become a key figure in the transfer market. Harry Kane is back at the center of transfer rumors. Manchester United, Tottenham, Al Ahly. Everyone wants him this summer, but which option is actually realistic? Manchester United is seriously considering signing Harry Kane. Yes, the same Kane they tried to buy back when Ten Hag was in charge, but ended up choosing Højlund instead. Spoiler alert, they might be regretting that decision now. And with Ruben Amorim desperately searching for a top striker, Kane looks like the perfect option. The problem? Money. Bayern included a release clause in Kane's contract. He could have left in January for €80 million, but he didn't take the opportunity. In January 2026, the clause drops to €65 million. This makes the deal potentially affordable, but there's a catch. If United wants to pull it off this summer, they need to start negotiating with Kane now and prepare the money before next winter. Would he agree to that? Enter Tottenham. They supposedly want to bring their legendary striker back, but let's be real. That sounds more like nostalgia for an ex. In reality, it's not that simple. First, there's no guarantee that Kane himself wants to return. He left for a reason. Why take a step back? Second, if Spurs want to sign him, they'll have to outbid their competition. Then there's Al Ahly. The Saudi Pro League is still going strong, hunting for big stars. Kane could be the perfect replacement for Firmino, who hasn't had the best time at the club. Financially, well, you already know, money isn't an issue in Saudi Arabia. If Kane suddenly decides he wants to secure the future of his entire bloodline for the next 7 generations, this move would make a lot of sense. But let's be real, would Kane actually move to Saudi Arabia right now? He's not Cristiano Ronaldo, who already has 5 Ballon d'Ors and a trophy cabinet full to the brim. Kane still wants to compete at the highest level. And while we're talking rumors, here's an important stat. Over 80% of viewers watch without subscribing. If you're one of them, now's the time to fix that. Subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest transfer updates and stay ahead of all the potential deals. So, what's the verdict? United needs a striker, but they have no guarantees Kane will agree. Tottenham wants him back, but financially it's a tough move. Al Ahly can throw crazy money at him, but Kane probably isn't ready for that step. Most likely, Kane will wait until January 2026 to leave for €65 million, while trying to win at least something with Bayern in the meantime. What do you think is the most likely outcome? Will Kane return to the Premier League, or are we in for another year of endless rumours with no real action? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Where do you think he should go? Newcastle has gone full greedy mode and announced that Alexander Isak will cost €150 million. That's the price of one Haaland or two solid world-class players, or, alternatively, just a shot at convincing the Magpies to part with their best striker. Arsenal wants Isak, and it looks like he's Arteta's top target. But the real question is, are the Gunners willing to spend that kind of money? Let's be honest, Isak is an incredible striker. Fast, technical, great with the ball, and moves so well off it that defenders lose their minds. 13 goals in 20 Premier League games, not quite Haaland's numbers, but who said Arsenal has only one option? The problem? Newcastle isn't really looking to sell. Sure, they've put out a €150 million and he's yours price tag, but this feels more like a defensive barrier than an actual invitation to negotiate. Isak's contract runs until 2028. He's not exactly in a rush to leave. On one hand, Arsenal needs a striker, and Isak could be the missing piece for a title-winning team. But on the other, the Gunners aren't known for throwing around that kind of money. Yes, they paid €105 million for Rice, but that was a homegrown midfielder. A rare case. Now we're talking about a 25-year-old Swede who's already at the top of the market price-wise. And let's not forget, €150 million can buy a different striker. Osimhen, Vlahovic, even Evan Ferguson from Brighton would be cheaper. So why lock in on Isak? The bigger picture, Newcastle has changed. They used to sell their stars when big clubs came knocking, but those days are over. They're aiming for top 4 finishes, not just being a talent factory for the elite. So this scary price tag isn't just about money, it's a statement. It's their way of saying our players are expensive because we're a serious club now. Selling Isak would wreck their entire attacking structure. So unless the player himself pushes for a move, Newcastle isn't letting him go. By the way, I know over 60% of you watch from your TVs but rarely hit the like button. If it's easy for you, just tap like. YouTube will notice and you'll start getting more fresh transfer updates in your recommendations. A small action, but a huge support for the channel. Final verdict? This transfer is unlikely to happen this summer. Unless Newcastle lowers their demands, Arsenal won't drop €150 million on one player. More likely, they'll wait for the price to drop or shift their focus elsewhere. What do you think? Should Arsenal break the bank for Isak or look for a more affordable alternative? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Real Madrid is planning a transfer that could break all records for defenders. They want to sign William Saliba from Arsenal. Yes, the same Saliba that Londoners consider one of the best centre-backs in the world. How about that? And what's even crazier? Madrid is willing to spend so much money that the numbers are downright scary. Let's add some context. Real Madrid's defense is going through an injury crisis. A real-life soap opera where centre-backs get injured more often than new seasons of Game of Thrones come out. Militao and Alaba are sidelined. Rudiger is also out. In short, Florentino Perez realized it's time to bring in someone strong, young and reliable. And Real's eyes landed on Saliba. The problem? Arsenal won't let him go that easily. They see him as the cornerstone of their defense. In fact, they recently rejected a massive offer from PSG. So, does that mean Real Madrid should just add a few more million to their bid? Madrid is reportedly ready to offer around €100 million. For reference, the transfer record for a defender belongs to Harry Maguire, €87 million. That means, if this deal happens, Saliba will become the most expensive centre-back in history. Honestly, with today's transfer market, price tags aren't just insane anymore, they're outright absurd. But does that stop anyone? Nope. The key question: what does Saliba think? According to reports, he finds the idea of moving to Madrid, let's say, intriguing. His camp has already sent positive signals, which in transfer language means a lot. And let's be real, who wouldn't want to be part of Madrid's Galacticos? History has shown that when Real Madrid wants a player, they usually get him, sooner or later. But keeping Saliba is a matter of principle for Arsenal. They know losing him could weaken their defense and hurt their chances of competing for trophies. So they'll probably set a price so high it'll give Real Madrid a case of the hiccups. So the big question, will this mega transfer happen, or will Arsenal hold their ground and keep Saliba? What do you think? Should he move to Madrid or stay in London? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious to hear what you think. And if you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to hit that like button, at the very least to help the YouTube algorithm, and at best to keep us bringing you the latest transfer rumors. Subscribe so you don't miss the next updates. Lewandowski, my friend, it's time to start worrying. Barcelona seems to have found your replacement, and it's not some dream signing, but a player who's been right under their nose this whole time. Who? Ferran Torres. Yes, that Ferran Torres. And no, this is not a joke. Let's be honest, back in the fall, you could argue that Louis just didn't fit the team's style. But now, no more excuses. Barca is slowly climbing out of their crisis, yet Robert's numbers aren't exactly impressive. 7 goals since the start of the year. Not bad, sure. But we're talking about a guy who was once competing for the Golden Boot. And let's not even mention the countless missed chances, because by now we're talking dozens. Remember the game against Atalanta? A crucial moment, a chance to bury the opponent. And what happens? He got tangled up in his own feet, laughed it off. Sure, in the grand scheme of things, first or second place didn't matter for Barca, but this is not the level of a top-class striker. Now compare that to the match against Valencia in the Copa del Rey. Barcelona dominated and Torres scored a hat-trick. And no, this wasn't just a lucky day. Ferran looked like the perfect false 9, quick, dynamic, attacking space at the right moments, and most importantly, finishing chances. Everything Lewandowski has been lacking lately. Hansi Flick has already tested him in this role, and if this continues, we might see a system Flick is familiar with, a mobile striker rather than a traditional target man. And guess which one of these two players fits that profile better? Age is also a factor. Lewandowski is 36. His best years are behind him. Sure, he can still score, but only if someone puts the ball on a plate for him. But should Barcelona really be playing to serve just one player? This isn't 2010, when you could just pass the ball to Messi and wait for magic to happen. Now, they need a striker who can create something on his own and contribute to the team's pressing. And that's where Torres comes in again. He's been written off before, but now he's thriving. This isn't just a one-time spark, he's genuinely improved. And if Flick keeps trusting him, Lewandowski will have to get used to squad rotation. By the way, are you watching without subscribing? 80% of viewers watch the videos but don't subscribe. Let's fix that. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the latest transfer rumors and football drama. Who would have thought that in 2025, Lewandowski's biggest rival for a starting spot would be Ferran Torres? Do you think Flick will actually make this switch, or will Louis fight his way back into the lineup? Drop your thoughts in the comments.